Good morning, this is Minister Paul, November 4th, 2012, 8:02 a.m. This story kind of touches close to home to me. It's on Breitbart. Black pastor receives death threats for reversing support on Obama. I'll tell you what I know is that I worked in this church from 2007 to like 2010. I was in their ministry. The man is a patriot. Um, he's done more for, if anybody's familiar with the DPH, they call it Del Paso Heights area. He's totally turned that entire area around. He literally bought like 2 blocks of it with his own money. There was a rundown place across the street. It was a porn shop right across the street from his church, um, and they would march around his church and throw feces and urine on him and stuff. And so he bought it and turned it into like a little free breakfast place. I've actually went there and had like eggs and sausage to support him. He's a patriot. We actually, when I had my private security company, give us some background. He utilized me as the head of security. He paid me to guard a property he was building to bring a church out here where we live, north of there. He, on 4th of July and Veterans Day, he fills this entire place with flags. He has always supported the troops. He's outspoken in what I call the truth. One thing that I remember about being in this church is that he sticks to the truth. Whether it makes him popular or not has never mattered with him. He sticks to the truth. I'll give you another example. Sac PD, they were amazed that he was able to turn around one of the worst areas. It's called Del Paso Heights. It's referred to as DPH for the locals here, or also the deepest part of hell. I mean, you literally can get killed at night walking down the street. Sacramento Police Department was so amazed that he could, this was in 2011, I think. They were so amazed that he could turn the neighborhood around and bring people off drugs that they wanted to meet with him and ask him how he did it. So he went over there and he met with them, and they wanted, because what he did was he bought a whole section of apartments behind him that were selling drugs, all types, crime every night. I think it was something like 19 calls a night. He bought the whole place and he turned it into what's called an Overcomers program, where you can you can live there for free, but you have to work in the church and you can't have any drugs or alcohol. There's been, I think at latest count, it was like 500 people come in through there and get clean and sober through what's called his Overcomers program and get a job. So they said, yeah, we want to use you and we want to use, your resources to help clean up the other parts of what's considered Del Paso Heights. And he said, well, I won't do it unless Jesus is involved. And they said, well, that we can't really do it that way. And I remember, because I used to be on a security team, he said, if Jesus isn't involved, then I won't be a part of it. And he walked away from the police department. So now he's actually received death threats for wanting to vote, doing what's called Vote the Bible. I've been in this man's office. Remember the guy Ron Jones? There's a story on here on he's in Stockton doing a police report on the New World Order coming to Stockton. He goes to this church. That's where I know him from, is this church. Just to give you a little background. Kudos to the local Fox 40 that I used to provide protection to. They're the only one that run this story. Matter of fact, this is where Drudge is pulling the story from, is our local affiliate Fox 40. Now But kudos to him for standing his ground and having the right. What he's saying is he has rights to believe what he wants to believe too. May have to refresh it here because it's been up all night, so pardon me. We'll run the story here.
Soon, the black community will vote for a black president. In 2008, President Obama won more than 90% of the black vote. A Sacramento pastor, leader of the largest multiracial congregation in the state, says he is proud of Mr. Obama, but the president won't get his vote. Not just Sundays, several times a week, Calvary Christian Center draws thousands of worshipers. Its 20,000 members led by this man, Dr. Philip Goodell.
I accepted Christ in my life. My relationship with him means more to me than the Democrat Party, the Independent, Republican, or black or white.
Goodell has pastored here for 3 decades, but it's his more recent political stance that's upset some in the black community. His vote won't go to America's first black president.
But I'm going to support people who support life, who support marriage between a man and a woman, smaller government, supports Israel.
Goodell feels so strongly he's traveled the nation to promote traditional marriage. His outspoken views have not only drawn criticism, but even death threats.
Why don't I have the right to stand up and speak my values without being hated on?
Others, though, in the black community, like longtime friend and pastor Sherwood Carthen, have come to his defense.
We're diverse. We have thoughts of our own, and we don't have this idea that you can put us all in one box. One size does not fit all.
Goodell's views aren't unique. National polls show support for gay marriage among black people remains under 50%, indicating the community is not as homogenous as many think.
They're getting it all mixed up. I'm voting for values, my commitment to the kingdom of God.
As I mentioned, the black turnout for President Obama in 2008, that election was close to 90%. Experts say they expect similar numbers this year. And just today...
So what I want to say about that man right there, Pastor Godot, since it's personal to me, close this off. Well, basically, I agree with what he's saying is, why isn't he allowed to vote the way he believes? These are not, this is not just being hyped up. I know him. He's a very low-key man when it comes to a security detail. These are legitimate, what I call credible death threats. Sac PD, a couple of Sac PD reserve officers will be placed in the crowd during his, he's been there 33 years. The guy standing to his right is his son. It's just sad that it seems like the Christians are being labeled intolerant. The people asking questions at the voting booths are being intolerant. Where are our rights? It would seem to me that the intolerant ones are the ones that are shoving what we can and cannot believe down our throats. This one just hit a little too close to home, and I thought you may be interested in it. Please have a good day.